Flying while Pegasus. Rainbow Dash sat at the table in the airport security office, listening to the clock on the wall which ticked out seconds loudly and stolidly, like it was slicing cheese.
Boring.
The Scion Pegasus announced, hoping one of the tall pink creatures outside could hear her, and maybe remember that she was sitting in here waiting when she could be out flying.
Lame.
She added for good measure.
Dull, Dullsville, monotonous, anemic, insipid, quotidian, Junie.
Rainbow thought that was how the last one was pronounced, and she grinned to herself.
I guess old Twilight was right, that the source thingy can be useful. Sometimes.
She added aloofly. After all, Rainbow used it sparingly, looking up a few specific words now and again. She didn't read the darn thing for fun like Twilight did. Next, Rainbow tried drumming her hoof on the table impatiently, like she'd sometimes seen the security officers do with their fingers while talking with her. She quickly gave it up. That sounded too much like a galloping pony sound effect. Then she tried counting the tiles on the ceiling, and got distracted before she got past a dozen or so. Finally, the doorknob rattled and the door swung open. Through it stepped a uniformed patrolwoman. She was dark-skinned and wearing cool dark shades. Indoors. Rainbow snickered to herself. Cool was cool, but there was a point where it got ridiculous. The officer sat down. She set the folder that she was carrying on the table. It was a large one, already creased and battered with Rainbow's name on the tab. She stared across the table, looking just as bored as Rainbow. Her badge said it was Officer Kanuni.
Again, Miss Dash?
Rainbow shrugged.
What can I say? I'm still getting used to the crazy rules this side of that portal that Twilight came up with. Really? What is it this time?
Kanuni consulted the topmost report in the folder. She looked up at Rainbow.
Failure to yield right-of-way to aircraft on final approach? Is that what this is about? Are you kidding me?
Rainbow fired back.
How much right-of-way do those flying spam cans need anyways? I was way out over the parking lot waving goodbye to a friend. In a landing glide path.
Rainbow growled and bounced up from her seat into the air, hovering with her forehooves crossed.
Just because these so-called airplanes of yours can't VTOL and stop on a dime, what's that to me? I can get out of the way easy. Please have a seat, Miss Dash.
Disgruntled, Rainbow flopped down into the chair again.
Also says here that you were seen flying too close to other aircraft. Yeah, parked on the ground. I was checking them out. So you weren't flying near active planes. Please, the backwash on those monsters makes stability a joke. And those jet intakes, they'd suck me right in, chew me up, and spit me out.
Kanuni consulted the folder.
Also says that you were found to be flying without a pilot's license. Yeah.
Rainbow scuffed her mane with a hoof, embarrassed.
There you got me. I'm still working my way through the bureaucracy, but I do have my Wonderbolt ID.
She proudly flashed her official golden medallion.
Afraid that's not valid here in Peoplestan,
Kanuni said dryly. Rainbow scowled and buffed the medallion gently, like she thought it had been offended. Kanuni flipped the folder closed.
Look, we're not trying to be difficult, Miss Dash. Hey, call me Rainbow!
Kanuni eyed her sourly.
We're not trying to be difficult, Miss Dash, but at least meet us halfway. I know we're obliged to show deference and bend the rules a bit on behalf of our guests from your world, but we're still trying to come up with reasonable policy variances regarding what are, for us, basically flying horses. Ponies!
Rainbow snapped hotly. She didn't like the way some of these humans kept using the H word around her and her friends.
Ponies, right.
Kanuni corrected herself. Then she pinched the bridge of her nose tiredly, pushing her sunglasses slightly askew.
Look, just do me a solid. Try and stay out of trouble for a little while at least, just until the policy details get worked out. Sure, no problem.
Rainbow agreed readily.
I promise you won't see me again anytime soon.
Rainbow was flying back the next day, sitting in the security office, facing Kanuni again.
Flying without a transponder?
Kanuni read.
Yeah, I only just scored one today.
Rainbow held up the plastic gadget clipped to her foreleg.
Works okay, except in wet weather, and I keep punching in the squawk wrong. Kinda hard to hit these tiny buttons with my hoof. And flying at night.
Kanuni read.
Without proper aviation lighting. What am I, a frickin' heart-swarming tree?
Rainbow rolled her eyes.
Yeah, sure, I'm looking into some custom lighting gear, but it has to look cool. And if the company I contacted comes through, it's gonna look real sweet. Like a secret agent or a commando, or just so long as you're visible at night. Trust me, man, they'll know it's Rainbow Dash coming from miles away.
And the next day...
We've been getting reports that you've been flashing pilots with...
Kanuni paused, not sure that she was reading it correctly.
rainbow lasers. The lights I got are kinda bright.
Rainbow admitted.
I thought they were just really strong LEDs or something. I'm gonna have them replaced, don't worry. They'll still be totally awesome.
Kanuni sighed in a put-upon way.
And now we have a citation.
She went on.
For operating an unmanned aircraft in a restricted area. Hello? Pegasus?
Rainbow pointed to herself, flapping her wings.
I know, but for the time being, you're classified as unmanned craft, so you need to follow certain rules relating to drones? These quadcopter things?
Rainbow held one up.
Yeah, as soon as I heard about them, I went out and got one. They're pretty sweet and totally awesome if I'm feeling lazy and just want to get a little flying action in without getting up from my cloud.
Kanuni ignored this.
Including?
She went on.
Having a clearly visible registration number. Huh?
Rainbow looked astonished.
You're telling me that this hunk of metal and plastic with a number on it is more illegal than a live Pegasus? Just to comply with the regs. So what, I'm supposed to get a tattoo or something? You have that tattoo on your rump? It's a cutie mark!
Rainbow snapped.
Totally different thing, it's part of me, so that's who I am. Rainbow Professionalism Dash. Right. Look, just until they get the remote ID thing worked out, okay? Fine, yeah, I'll see about getting a henna tattoo or something.
Rainbow grumbled, then she eyed Kanuni darkly.
Just checking, henna's not some kind of illegal substance, is it? No, but I don't think henna's gonna work on the fur and feathers. Huh, hadn't thought about that. Okay, maybe I'll just wear a custom print jersey then. But just so we're clear, I'm only doing it to comply with the regs, right? I'm not getting a permanent brand here?
She stood up and rammed her forehooves down onto the table.
Because I'm not a number. I'm a pony.
Kanuni shook her head.
I'm not getting paid enough for this.
And the next day...
I don't get it!
Rainbow demanded testily.
They told me I was operating without communications gear, so I went out and got one.
She held up a large walkie-talkie-shaped device. It had more buttons than most calculator factories.
Pretty cool, huh? I think I can get Cincinnati on this thing. We've had reports that you've been interfering with active flight communications. Well, how can that be?
Rainbow said.
I only hit this button to turn it on, and then this one is scanned for a channel where nobody's talking at the moment. How can I be interfering with anything?
Delta 404, say again. Is that Pegasus on this channel again? Kanuni raised an eyebrow. Rainbow hurriedly shut the thing off. She said, blushing.
Maybe I need somebody to show me how to use this thing right. Flying below minimum safe altitude and reckless flying. Hey, I was practicing loop-the-loops in the parking lot. But I thought by staying below the tops of the lampposts, I wouldn't be in the way this time. And yeah, I might have smacked into a van that came out of nowhere, but it was totally at fault. He didn't signal for a turn or nothing. He reported that you crash-landed on his roof and then yelled at him through the windshield. Well, I was a little ticked. I was going for a record and he threw off my count. Mustache. Oh, fine, whatever. Okay, now what?
Rainbow snarled, hooves crossed.
Operating with poorly maintained equipment?
Kanuni looked puzzled herself. She turned the report over, but there was no further explanation on the back. Then she saw who'd filed it.
Ah, apparently you flunked the aircraft inspection. Aircraft inspection? What are they thinking? I'm a Pegasus for crying out loud! Yeah, apparently they're still working out the inspection standards.
Kanuni nodded.
But they say that you're still not up to snuff. Huh? You see these babies?
She flourished her wings.
I preen every day, gotta be in peak flight condition. That's not the issue. Says here that you haven't filed a doctor's certificate. When was your last medical checkup?
Rainbow suddenly looked leery, like any good flyer would be when doctors were mentioned.
My last physical? Can I get back to you on that? Want a donut? Gee, thanks. What's the occasion? This is becoming a habit, you know.
Kanuni muttered.
Figured I might as well combine it with my morning break. But bring you donuts next time. Fair enough. So, what's the rap today?
Kanuni looked pained, but opened the folder.
Flying in a fire control zone.
She read, then eyed Rainbow.
Tell me you weren't trying to be some kind of hero. Nah, I just noticed the brush fire up on the canyon, and I flew there to see if I could land a hoof. The fire department does note that you flew small tools around for them. Just doing my part, ma'am. And they kept flying over the fire suppression line. The aircraft bringing in suppressant had to circle around until they were certain that you were clear. You're just lucky that they took note of your willingness to help and didn't decide to press charges. Well, heck, isn't there a good American rule or something that applies in cases like this? Good Samaritan. And that only applies when directly helping someone trapped or in need of medical assistance. Oh, oops. My bad. Failing to file a flight plan. This is getting ridiculous!
Rainbow flung up her hooves.
How the hell am I supposed to know what maneuvers I'm gonna pull any given day? I live in the moment. Go with the flow. I don't know. Just put the same airport as source and destination, and the approximate flight time. It's just for the records anyways. Is this like that cargo declaration thing?
Rainbow looked embarrassed.
I hate having to jump on that scale every morning. I normally don't worry about my weight, but it's making me self-conscious.
Then she grinned.
Hey, but apparently there's some kind of dangerous cargo declaration form. I might want to check that out after all.
She said, puffing out her chest.
I'm as dangerous as they come. Miss Dash?
Kanuni said.
Take my advice. Don't. Don't?
Rainbow looked crushed.
Just don't. Bad idea. Oh, man.
Rainbow was sitting with her hooves crossed tightly, scowling from under her rainbow-colored bangs.
Okay, explain this one to me, ma'am.
She growled.
I'm walking along. Walking, right? Not flying. And I was heading to the airport food court to get a sandwich. And some security guard stops me and starts asking a whole bunch of annoying questions. I mean, I wasn't doing anything, and they just stopped me for no reason. Miss Dash, you have acquired a reputation around here, as you know, as a troublemaker. So, does that mean that they can just start needling me with questions, treating me like some kind of criminal, just for being there?
Kanuni shut her eyes and shook her head.
You have no idea. Well, I'm not putting up with that.
Rainbow pounded the table.
I'm starting to feel persecuted here, and I'm...
She shook her forehooves in frustration.
I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, but I won't be pushed around like this. I'm a Pegasus, for crying out loud. I'm gonna find some way to fly around here that doesn't run afoul of all these crazy rules that you people have. I'm telling you, Twilight, it's like they're out to get me now.
Princess Twilight Sparkles, standing next to Rainbow in the airport security check line, rolled her eyes. The Lavender Alicorn was perfectly capable of flying herself, but she nevertheless preferred using commercial flight this side of the portal. And by now, she was quite experienced. She'd already put her small carry-on with her crown in it on the X-ray conveyor belt. And she had her ticket and photo ID ready to hoof as she and Rainbow approached the metal detector.
Aren't you overreacting, Rainbow? No, I'm not! They've got so many rules this side of the portal, it's like they're determined to not let me fly at all! Just because they're a little heavy on the rules doesn't mean that they're out to get you specifically, Rainbow. I mean it, Twilight, I think it's personal now. They're going after me just to set me off. I think they like messing up my day now. Well, if you keep obliging them by flying off the handle... But this time, I got them outfoxed.
Rainbow crossed her hooves smugly.
I've bought a ticket on one of their flying spam cans, and I've done all the pre-boarding security check-in stuff. And thanks for helping me with all the paperwork, by the way. Not a problem.
Twilight rolled her eyes, wishing Rainbow's pen pony ship could be improved somehow.
Plus, they can't even ask me to take my shoes off.
Rainbow bounded into the air, wings flapping, grinning as she showed all 4 bare hooves.
'Cause I'm not wearing any.
Then she quickly landed back onto the ground in case there was some crazy rule against flying while actually in an airport.
Rainbow, I'm telling you, Twi, I've got it totally covered this time. I'll let them do all the worrying about flying and regulations and identification and airspace and whatnot, while I sit back and relax in comfort. Rainbow, what? I think the guard is trying to get your attention. Excuse me? Miss Dash? What?
Rainbow demanded explosively, whirling on him.
What is it now? Your license.
He held it up.
It's not real ID compliance. We started requiring that today. Plus, you're not wearing a mask. There's been an uptick in cases lately. What?
Rainbow's eyes went wide. She was quivering uncontrollably.
What? What?
The TSA officer held up the plastic squeeze bottle with Rainbow's cutie mark on it.
Plus, you've clearly got more than 3 ounces of liquid here.
Rainbow blinked, stunned. And then her yell could be heard up and down the departure wing.
Oh, come on!
Yeah, really seems like a pain in the ass to deal with regulations when you're a Pegasus. Or, a Pegasus in the human world. But aside from that, this was very fun and very much enjoyable. Now let's get on to our geniuses of donators. Top donators: TacoCat598, Peter Coulthard, J Tin Man, Darkside, Gauntlet, and Only One Thing. Zar630, Strix, Rayden, Narwhals, Blackmoonheart, Drake Lovedragon, Pastel Skies, Austin Rowland, CrazyKiller557, Stu Hex, Will, James Burner, Dawspell, Delta Omega, Jack Hedge, RunesLife9852, Madman Stan, Leslie Prickett, Hudson Norman, Stephen Bingham, LineGod12, and many more amazing people. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and live life to the fullest.